Hey guys, Indiana Smith here. Let's go arrowhead hunting. They say lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place, but we're going to test that hypothesis today. This is Saturday, March 21st. Tuesday I was down in this creek and I found 3 hole points, 1 common point, 1 really nice Gary point made out of some beautiful material, and then I found one of the absolute best artifacts I've ever found, a screamer of a paleo piece. That night we had another big flood. So we're going to see if the floods have kicked out anything else for us and what we might find today. And my friend Billy's going to be coming up the creek. He'll meet us later in the morning. So we're going to see what we can pick up before we meet up with him. All right, let's check it out and see what we find. Well, this is not exactly the kind of bone we're looking for, but this is kind of interesting. It's a lower mandible from an herbivore, probably a calf, judging by the teeth. We find cow, bison, as well as mammoth, mastodon, and other Pleistocene animals here. Sometimes the late Pleistocene stuff is hard to distinguish from modern, but I'm reasonably sure this one's a cow. So we'll leave him where we found him. I can't really tell what this is, but it appears to be a piece of fossilized bone of some sort, so I'm going to tease it out of the gravel here. Going by the texture, I think it's fish bone. We had some really large tarpon-like fish down here that reached a length of about 16 feet called Xiphactinus. There's just not enough of that piece for me to tell what part of the fish it's from, but it looks more like fish than Mosasaur anyway. Right here is a nice-sized Mosasaur tail vertebrae. Got some matrix all over it. And right beside it here, over here, this is a little Cretaceous sea worm casting. They're common. See them all down here. But these were the guys that bored the holes in the large oyster shells and then used the calcium from it to make a little shell for themselves. So, a couple of nice fossils there. Still looking for our first point, but we've got virgin gravel from here on down. We got our first artifact of the day. It's not a point. I think it's like a flint knife or a preform. It's definitely been worked. This is made out of Ogallala chert, which is our common local material. Find a lot of rough tools like this down here. Hopefully the next thing will be a little slimmer and more refined. We're in a layer here known as the red bed. I think its technical name is the Ozan Formation, but it's pretty rich in fossils. And if you look right here, you'll see a fossilized ammonite. That's a coiled snail-like creature coming out of the red bed here. Oops. Well, I don't know that he was whole anyway, but you can kind of see the segments on his shell there. A little bit more complete on the other side. He might clean up. I'm going to pop him in my case anyway. Here's a really nice ammonite imprint on this piece of gray shale. Looks like lightning did not strike twice for points in this creek, but we've got a little piece of bone here that looks kind of interesting, so I'm going to reach down here. Okay, it's got some size to it. It's Mosasaur, I'm pretty sure. It's not jaw. It's some piece from up in the skull or the hinge of the jaw. Looks like maybe around the base of the skull. Nice solid piece of bone though. It's upper Cretaceous. You really see the detail on it there. All right, well, maybe we're not done for the day yet. Here we are at the meetup point. Billy, I think, came a little further than halfway up, but he's got a couple of preforms and some broken stuff and a scraper that he found.
Just a preform here and then odds and ends on the rest of it.
It's been a really slow day for points, but we have managed to find some fossils, and walking back up in an area we've already covered, I just spotted a really nice Mosasaur vertebrae here that we missed, laying in the water. It's got some great color on it, good definition. Well, today was an example of why we call it point hunting and not point finding. Not a lot of artifacts today. I'll confess, a little bit disappointed. We got some pretty good bones here. Very nice Mosasaur tail vertebrae. Here's a thoracic vertebrae. You can tell this fossilized in a different layer because it's a completely different color. This just big chunk of bone, I think it's from the base of a skull of some sort of giant fish. You can tell the texture is just a little bit different from reptile bone. Here's another piece of big indeterminate bone. I'm pretty sure that it's fish also. Very eroded Mosasaur vertebrae, miniature Mosasaur vertebrae, and the top of a rib, partial ammonite, and my one butt ugly preform. Billy's got several small eroded vertebrae here and one little bit nicer preform than the one I found. So that was our haul on the creek today. But let me show you why I came back to this creek. Same creek, Tuesday, 1, 2, 3. Found those 3, including a paleo point that's one of the nicest I've ever found. That's why I came back here. I was hoping lightning might strike twice, but I think this creek may have used up its mojo for the moment. But hey, another flood, another day, another hunt, who knows? Anyway, it's been fun, guys. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and also one last little note here. This is a really tough time for indie authors. We can't get out and do book signings because of the corona quarantine, so please surf on over to Amazon, check out my books, buy 1 or 3 or 5. It'll help me and my family get through this mess. Thanks a lot.